In addition to that, tonight's forum may go a little over time, even though it has been scheduled for 30 to 40 minutes. And if any of you need to leave early, please leave a comment or suggestion or any kind of feedback in the chat box before you sign off, please. All right, I think we should begin. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, thank you very much for your time this evening. Hope you're all keeping well and warm. Before we start, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the tragic loss of students in Bangladesh. Our hearts go out to their families and communities during this difficult time. It's a challenging time for many, and it's important we remain mindful and supportive of each other during this period. I would also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and their connections to land, water, culture, and community. I pay my respects to the elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Tonight, I'm presenting from that traditional land of the Wangal. We have audience from many other lands, including Gadigal, Nangawal, and Narm. Let me quickly give you a brief idea on today's agenda. We would like to take an opportunity of this slot to introduce ourselves because you need to know who we are. And then we will hear from our tonight's leader. After that, we will welcome a couple of beautiful mothers who have agreed to share their stories with us tonight. So, who are we? Let me start with myself. I'm Indrila Haq, the founder of Australian Bangladeshi Women in Leadership. I also work full-time with federal government in a leadership position. What is this initiative about? I arrived in Australia almost 15 years ago, and since then, I have been surrounded by many wonderful individuals. Looking around now, I see that many of them have achieved tremendous success in their respective fields. Some hold senior positions in large corporates, while others have established their own businesses. Over time, these amazing individuals have inspired me to create a platform where we can unite to make a positive impact on ourselves, our community, and on a larger scale, both nations. Besides our main commitments, we have a plan to engage Australian Bangladeshi female entrepreneurs and professionals to step forward and support our community, fostering the growth of more female leaders. We are just at the beginning of our journey, and your support will help us expand and enhance our initiative. Now, I would like to request one of our board directors, and actually, she's going to be our chairperson as well, Dr. Nazli Siddiqui, to talk a little bit more about the organization. Many of you may know Dr. Nazli Siddiqui because she is a former economics lecturer in North South University. Dr. Nazli Siddiqui is an academic and a coordinator of health service management course within the Department of Business and Economics in University of Tasmania. She has a PhD in health management and about 20 years of teaching experience across Australia and Bangladesh. Nazli Apu has been a co-investigator on collaborative projects with Australian government health bodies worth $3.1 million. At the international front, Dr. Nazli has been publishing about services management and scholarship of teaching and learning in Bangladesh healthcare and education. Over to you, Nazli Apu.
Thank you, Indrila. That's a very, very nice way to present me. I don't think I could have done that. So thank you so much. I know quite a few of you here, so happy to see known faces and would also like to know more about the new ones that I will be meeting through this platform. It's an absolute pleasure for me to attend today's session and to get this platform to promote the vision of the organization. As Indrila has mentioned, this organization's vision is to really place Australian and Bangladeshi women at the forefront of leadership. Now, that may sound like a common vision to a lot of the other things that you have heard, but what I think really makes us unique is the way we think this leadership idea will unfold. In the long term, the macro level that we would like to contribute to is guided by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal. A lot of people have identified that UN SDG as the world's best plan to end a lot of undue vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities like gender inequity, um, poverty, quality or lack of quality education, climate disasters, and whatnot. So there are specific 17 SDGs that UN has already identified that all countries in the world should be working towards. So in the long term, keeping that vision in mind, we imagine Australian and Bangladeshi women to be working across the sectors of those development goals and doing that with the strength of diversity. So, what I mean by that, we imagine Australian and Bangladeshi women would work with women of all background so that they can really take strength in the diversity and help the communities in both the countries, as Indula has mentioned, Bangladesh as well as Australia. The other unique aspect of leadership that I believe this organization would stand for is leadership in unity. So when we see Australian and Bangladeshi women in leadership, we imagine not an individual person taking the leadership role, but the women taking leadership in unity, in partnership with whoever can be a facilitator. So it could be family members, it could be stakeholders in different organizations. And that's why you will see that even today, our presenters, when they are giving us their valuable time to talk about women's well being, they are doing it in the context of family, because that's how we see leadership unfolding, not as an individual concept, but as a concept of unity and partnership. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity, Indira, for me to explain why I was motivated to be part of this organization. And I would like to also thank you, all the presenters of today, as well as current members of the organization, to let us initiate this journey towards our vision. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy Apo. That was beautifully presented. Thank you once again. Now I would like to introduce you with Amit Bhuya, who is a board director as well as the organization secretary. Amit's presence signifies our commitment to inclusivity, diversity, and the shared pursuit of gender equality in leadership. His expertise, perspective, and dedication to advancing women's leadership will undoubtedly enrich our discussions and decisions in future. Amit's presence underscores our belief that true progress towards gender equality requires collaboration and support from all genders. Amit is working with state government and he has a master's degree as well. Amit is also a JP, Justice of Peace. Now I would request Amit to say hello to everyone. Amit?
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. And thank you, Indila, for the introduction. I'm honored to be a part of this organization, and as you all can see, I'm the only man here. But I believe women are a source of strength and power. My mother, my sister, and my two beautiful daughters, and my one and only wife, they are the inspiration and support my life. Their well-being is my priority, and I'm dedicated to supporting women's mental health uh, by at all means. I don't wanna make it any more longer because we are running out of time. So welcome everyone to this forum dedicated to the mental well-being of women. So I'll hand over to Indrila. Thank you.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you so much. I think you just wanted to say one of your wives, but yeah, that's okay. You said
One
you
and only
corrected
wife.
it. Yeah, okay, one and only. All right, thank you, Amit. All right, now the very last but not least, Sandra. Yes, Sandra is our board of director as well as our treasurer. Sandra has double masters and she is a chartered accountant, CA, and currently working with state government. Sandra, would you like to say hi to everyone?
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Intrala, for the introduction. Yes, so I came to Australia almost 20 years ago. So I now currently live in Sydney with my husband and my 3 boys. So yes, when I first came to Australia, it was such a drastic change from my life in Bangladesh. So it took me a long time to adapt to the lifestyle here. So through this platform also, we will try and provide some guidance and support to those who are coming from Bangladesh as to pursue higher education or for a brighter future. So with your support, we hope to have more of these online platforms. And thank you all for coming along tonight and making this a great success. I see a few familiar names and faces, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra. That was lovely. All right, now let's move on to the main topic. We conducted thorough market research and analysis. Based on our findings, we observed that mothers face more challenges compared to other females. Therefore, we decided to conduct a survey focusing on parenting challenges for second-time mothers, mothers of newborns, and mothers of non-teenagers and teenagers. We received a significant number of responses, all of which provided great ideas to discuss. Following the survey responses, we have tailored our program accordingly. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, and many more of these specific parenting challenge series will be coming up soon, where we will discuss additional parenting challenges. In a minute, I will welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Nahid Siddiqui, who is a very prominent and talented psychiatrist in New South Wales. Dr. Nahid has experience in patient care management for psychotic illnesses and depression, anxiety, and other common mental health problems. Complex trauma and women's mental health from culturally diverse populations are her special interests. Dr. Nahid Siddiqui has been an experienced mental health staff specialist within New South Wales Health, and now she provides private care at Ramsay Clinic. But before that, dear audience, let me introduce you with Dr. Rumana Afrin, and she is a beautiful mother as well. And let's hear from her first. Rumana, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Thanks,
All right.
Indrila.
All
Sorry.
right. First of all, I would like to thank you and for your support. And I have got a request for you tonight, actually. If you could kindly conduct the discussion with Dr. Nahid tonight, that would be really appreciated because I think doctors will connect with each other better than me. But before that, could you please share your experience, Dityapo, as a woman? Like, what kind of challenges you had faced in your early days in Australia?
Sure. Thank you, Indrila, for inviting me tonight. And it's a huge honor. And yes, I'll happily conduct the session. As you asked me, I came to Australia around nearly 20 years ago. And I'll share some of my old memories. When I came to Australia, I did everything, all kind of job, anything to survive. And I have got my first job as medical officer around 18 months of my arrival in Australia. And by that time, I was pregnant. So I was so happy, so excited with all these good things in my life. And
Sorry, Sandra, you're
sorry.
That's okay.
I got unmuted.
Sorry,
okay.
Rumanapu.
That's
Oh,
okay,
sorry,
no problem.
sorry.
Yes, so once I got my first job when I was pregnant, I was really, really excited and happy. I remember every moment on that day with all this good news. After getting the job, the real struggle started for a woman coming to a multicultural country. My pregnancy, my new job, career, job stress, social demand, managing families. And top of that, my language issues or barriers and adjustment issues. I didn't have much family support, very limited family support on the time. And it was a constant fight, sort of to prove that I can do it. I'll stop here now. I'll come to Dr. Nahid Siddiqui Appa. Appa, my first question to you, what are the challenges faced by multicultural parents in Australia?
Sorry, Nahidapu, you're on mute. Yes.
Yes, this is another adjustment. Yep. So, as a thank you, Dr. Romana, for bringing up such a important and relevant question to all women from multicultural background. But first, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Indriya to give me an opportunity to talk about such an important thing in your platform, and being the first speaker in this platform is definitely a big honor. I do appreciate it, and thank you, Indrila. And now going back to the question, as you said, it's been an interesting concept. You have come to Australia, you struggled, you did multiple jobs, tried to sustain. When you got your job as a medical officer, which is in your medical line, in your desired position, the challenges started. So let's look at the things what usually happens for a parent, especially for a mother. I'm going to take this opportunity, sorry, Amit, to focus mostly on mothers. I know you're a supportive spouse, and most spouses are supportive because they know the role of the importance of the mother and a woman in maintaining the family. And it's a journey together. If we look at the statistics, I was looking at the Australian Bureau of Statistics, 17% of the population in Australia are coming from migrant population, first generation migration. And the challenges they face is acclimation to the host country, also have to face the culture they brought along together. So the pressure or understanding the culture and societal expectation from their home country. And while doing all this, internally being very much in turmoil. So let's look at the host country. What is it? Believe it or not, being a female migrant is further discrimination in the being a migrant. There was a study which was done in Australia which showed that in 6 years' time, a migrant male gets the job done up to 70%. But at the same time, a migrant woman usually can achieve only 3% of the population could actually achieve a job and acclimation. So it again highlights the challenges of a mother, a woman faces. And what do we face in the host country is a kind of alienation because it's a culture unknown and also language unknown. Expected social norms are unknown. So you have to live through it. There's no way of learning and, through others and developing it. And also there is a perception in the host country that, people coming from our cultural background really live in a patriarchal society. So women don't have much voice, and it is a close-knit family. Integration to the culture of the host country is very difficult. We are not open. And also, they are seen as they're not qualified to raise a child according to the expected culture because of not having been exposed and not having a voice. So a woman has to first, when they come into this country, establish her credibility as a woman, as a mother, and as a citizen of this country. Then coming to the employment prospect. Even in the employment prospect, females in general have got discrimination going on as a general population. But being a migrant, it heightens because we are not exposed to the type of questions, expectations, what we really are going to be, bringing to the company, bringing to the employer, because we don't have the similarity. So it is a challenge that we have to find these things and present ourselves that we are able to assimilate. Now, coming to the home country, in the home country, a woman is, when we are coming here, is seen as a homemaker. She is responsible for the well-being of the child, well-being of their husband, well-being of the family. So, and traditional believes that the mother is the one which is going to raise the children. Well-being of the children, decisions of the children are mostly done by the mother, versus the practical things, the time availability, and the way she has to juggle a lot of these responsibilities. Supporting her spouse is also part of her responsibility, because overall the whole focus of her achievement is seen through how her family is doing. Now, being a professional, if a woman wants to go ahead and establish her profession, the focus on the profession, it is seen as, at a cost for the family, because mom is not available. Mom is spending time in studying. So these children don't have the guidance. And the first thing, if anything happens, they will say, how would it be? Because mom is not available. She's busy with developing her career. So that's a very, guilt-provoking thought we women have to carry. So they have to balance even a 24-hour time for first comes for the children, then for the family. If something is left, then is the time to study or develop. So that leads to the question of internally what a woman feels within herself. Who am I? The achievement I did back home, the professional capacity I had back home, the education I had back home, it's totally gone, zero. I have to start again from the zero, have to establish myself, study myself from the zero. And everything, we do different type of jobs because we have to survive. And at that time, we are judged at that performer for that job, not for our professional capacity. And most of these jobs are not, at our previous level or previous caliber. And just for economic sake, we have to do that. It goes for men as well. It is a struggle because you are de-skilling yourself to survive. And internally, it is very, very conflicting situation you have to be in. And then comes, as I said, the challenges of rearing a child. The child's entire behavior is somehow reflected on the mother. So I think all of us remembers when a child refuses to, do a salutation in a social gathering, and we would be saying, "Salam diyecho." That's such a common thing, because we are afraid that we want to not to be judged, because we want to portray that we are an ideal family. We are educated, we are performing, we have got the capacity, and the childs we are bringing up are ideal as well. So it is a lot of challenges, lot of disadvantage. I would say challenges. And also it's a life journey. And each journey will throw a lot of obstacles at different level. And we have to negotiate it. I hope that answers the question. It's a very long-winded answer.
Perfect, Appa. Such an amazing talk. Now, I want to share my current struggles, still ongoing. I've got two kids, two teenage kids, 17 and 13. My 13-year-old daughter. So she wants to hang out with her friends and does not want me to join. So I drop her at the shopping center, then I stay nearby. I want just keep an eye on her. Or social gathering. She doesn't want to wear the traditional clothes, salwar kameez. And then I have accepted something which is sort of decent looking. It's got sleeve, something nicer. And it's a constant compromise and negotiation to, as a parents, to manage a situation in a socially acceptable way. And most importantly, it is the guilt as a mother. Am I doing the right thing? What should I do? Appa, again, the next question for you. What strategies can parents develop to help their children have a strong sense of cultural identity?
Very, very difficult question because there's not one solution or not one strategy, and it's evolving. And I do have two girls, and I cannot say that I have been able to do the best possible. So the struggles we have, I think, is the cultural identity we have, and the attachment to that identity, the strength and benefits of those identity, the way we feel it, the way we embrace it. Our children has not been exposed to that. So they're in a diverse, it's a multicultural environment. They also have a strong host culture, which is not always aligning with us. So which is quite challenging for a child to think, where do I belong? And hats off to you. You've got 17 and 13. Those are the times the most challenging for a parent and well as the children, because children from 13 to 17, 18 starts to develop themselves as an individual. They don't want to be seen as part of the parents' family. They think they're adults, even though they've got an adolescent developing brain. So they will try to separate from our parental structure as much as possible. So just by imposing them or telling them to do it will give you some results, but they will not incorporate it. They will not accept it. They will not feel that this is really what they represent. I feel if we see these children as an individual, not only part of us, how they behave reflecting on us means we see them as part of us. But these are really an individuals developing. When they are growing up, if we can instill the sense of pride, sense of why we want these things. If a child, we can say that if you wear this way, you look beautiful. You look so graceful. And yes, then also ask, why is the reason you're not feeling comfortable to accept it as your identity? Are you worried that your friends will not like it, or you will tease you, or think you are different? So once you can identify, you can have a conversation. Then you can come to do two things. One is to introduce your culture among their friends, their school, attending, the parents, teachers meetings, and especially multicultural events, present your food, attend to reading support groups, be visible. If you're different, but you're visible, slowly you start to be accepted. And the second thing is, when we are trying to understand why this child doesn't want you to be there, it's mostly because they want to prove to their friends that they are cool. They don't need their parents anymore. So then you can be honest to them. Look, you see, I understand, but you have to understand your mom, your dad has not experienced these sort of things of going to shopping center, doing, going around with friends. We haven't done it. And that's why it's unknown to us and we worry. So if we can come to a compromise, you say, I will worry if I let you go totally by yourself. So let's come to a compromise. I will sit far away. I don't want to, you won't see me, but I'm there in a telephone call away. Very quickly, I can get to you. And you can also have fun. They won't like it, but ultimately, still the power difference is with you. So they will slowly accept it. So the same with, the dresses. What we would like to know is from our point of view, prospective point of views, that wearing certain shalwar kameez doesn't mean that you are being Islamic. Our religion guides us how to wear the clothes, what are the parameters. And that's why we have got other Islamic countries who wear Western clothes in accordance to the religion. And we see a lot of Turkish people, a lot of Arab people, they were wearing westernized clothes by maintaining those codes. So it's possible. But as a parent, we have to be flexible and open, because we are also getting the children to integrate, to feel, to belong, and to identify. And when we are in this potluck mixture of all these cultures have good things and bad things. So we will have to teach our child how to survive with the good things. What is good? Why is it good? And how it would benefit the child. Then the child will feel not so much alienated. And hopefully, when they become mom, they will find the benefit of what they had gone through. So, but the biggest part is to keep on talking and understanding that the differences often create anxiety of unknown. When the other people sees us, they don't know us. We look different, we sound different, we talk different. So there is a fear of unknown. And when the fear of unknown comes, the rejection happens. So the more we can get our child to talk about our religion, talk about our culture, see the fun part of it. Nowadays in a lot of schools, Bollywood nights happen. So slowly, the fun part, the positive parts, if we can integrate it, then only we can help our child to accept our culture. They have to feel proud. They have to feel they can identify. I'm again saying it's not, one thing fits all. And I'm not an expert, and I cannot say that I have achieved everything with the parenting. It's a Pandora's box. You will find every turn, everything, there's a new challenge. But the key is to keep the communication open and keep on talking.
Thank you, Appa. Such a valuable information. Amazing. At this stage, I'll request Indrila to continue the session. Thank you, Indrila, again for giving this amazing experience. Thank you again.
Thank you, Rumanapu. Thanks for accepting my offer to conduct the discussion. But Nahidapu, thank you very much for being our guest speaker tonight. Before you go, could you please tell our audience tonight if they need help, who they need to reach out first, and if you have any last few words for all the audience tonight, please.
Thank you, Indrila. Thank you again for giving this opportunity. The one last thing is, I find, coming from a multicultural background, parents or everyone, we really hesitate to ask for help. How would you know when to get help? When you're feeling you're not able to handle the situation within your ability. And asking for help is the first step towards understanding the problem and getting the resources available. And I would be really like to be.
Oh, have we lost Naidapu?
I think it's disconnected. Yep.
Okay, that's
I will
all
call her
right.
while you can move on with something.
All right, it's fantastic.
Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're back, Naidapu.
yeah.
Please
Naidapu
carry
back.
on.
Yep.
Yep. So saying that, more than happy to answer, and would be more than happy to use this platform. Sorry.
That's okay.
I think there is two tabs going on. So I'll use this platform to ask questions. And if you could put those questions in, I'm more than happy to answer. I've got 2 private practices running in Tirul and Campbelltown through Ramsey. And I've also recently started my own Psych Insight practice, where it's mostly based on telehealth. So more than happy to be of any assistance. Thank you again, and sorry for the glitch up. Still learning these mechanisms and things.
That's absolutely
Thank you.
fine. Thank you, Naidapu. Thanks once again. All right. Let's move on to our next part of tonight's session. So now, without any further delay, let me welcome another beautiful mother to share her challenges while raising such talented and polite to beautiful boys. Kaniz Murshidi, who is a full-time working mother, and Kaniz Apu is working in local government at this stage. And I apologize for my baby snoring. You probably can hear that I have got 2 dogs and they are sleeping and snoring. Kaniz Apu, over to you, please.
Sure. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you very much, Angela, for giving me the platform or even thinking of me being a speaker here. Well, listening to everyone sounds so familiar, and like, you know, the common stories and like how to say, like it sounded like I'm reading an economics article where things are so simple and like, you know, so easily, and it relates to us on a day-to-day basis. Then how come these people say it so nicely and express it so nicely and make sense? So I'll just introduce myself. I'm Kaniz Murshidi. I work for local government for a long time now, and I came to Australia in 1991 while I was in year 11. I came here as a newlywed. So when I got married when I was in year 11, and I finished my HSC and had my first baby. Then I took a 2-year study gap. And then I went back to study and finished my diploma in accounting. And I had my second baby. So, and then I went back to uni and finished my degree. So pretty much until my second baby was 5, that's when I finished my uni and was thinking of starting work. So while raising the kids and studying, and I was lucky that I could afford to study part-time. My husband was very supportive, and he could maintain the household and look after us. But excuse me for my voice. But I think when listening to Rumana and Mabi, it's that perfectionist expectation from mom, and maybe more from our cultural background. But I think it's not also very unique to our cultural background. I see it in everywhere. And when I was at uni, I was surprised to see that one of my lecturer, she was a single mom, and her story was so similar to mine, because she used to help me out after the hours. Because when I could not, like if I needed help, I didn't have the same time available as other students. I literally sometimes would just run to class, finish the class, and run back to Central Station to catch a train and come home. Because I was kind of determined that I will not leave my kids in childcare. So I always did night classes. So my husband would come catch one like from city, and I'll wait at the station with them, and he will bring them home, and I'll take the train from the other platform. And so pretty much like, you know, just make it to the class. So that's how I managed to finish my study, never thinking that I would have a career. I actually went back to study. It's because sort of while I was raising them, I realized that I needed something else, just not apart from being a mom. I love my kids and like my family, but I just needed something else. I could not do it 24 hours, like 7 days. So that's I took the study as a break, as such. So it worked out well. I did fine, and I then started to look for a job. And none of my family member actually knew that I'm actually looking for a job. So my husband will go to work, and I will drop my kids at school. The younger one will stay with me, and I'll just search and look for jobs. And I think after my graduation, after 3 weeks, I got a job. And then when that time I told my husband that I actually got a job. So, and I would like to work. And so he got the shock of his life. So he said, "Oh, so how can you go to work? Like, who's going to look after the kids and where the boys?" And because none of them are, with the study, life was different because I'll study only after everyone goes to bed. So there was no difference. Like life will go as usual. He will go to work and house is clean, cook, like food is ready. And I study only at night after 10 o'clock. So there's no disruption. But now that I'll start working, I have to live with everyone else. So, and he will have to do some of the part of like taking the kids to childcare or dropping at the before care. So that was a big sort of like adjustments. And as much as the physical, the logistics and organizing all that, it was also a big, I would say, mental challenge, accepting that disruption or accepting that changes in life. And my family as well, my parents back home, everyone was like, "Oh, Mita is starting working. Like, she's thinking of going to work, like, starting a job." But like, I managed to convince everyone that, I'll still look after the house. I will still look after the kids and the boys will be looked after. I'll not compromise in that. So I had to sort of like, convince everyone that I will still be an ideal mom, like, and the work will not disturb that. So, and then I started working, and like, during that time also, especially when I had my first baby, and I was a full-time mom, there was time that actually I went through mild depression, which I never was aware of, like never even recognized it because I was not aware of that concept. Because you get sad, upset, you would like to go out, and my husband won't understand it because he doesn't understand it either. He never is aware of that concept. But I also did not realize until in the lot later in my life when I actually had another scenario or episode of severe depression. And that's when I was going through treatment or getting help that we sort of identified my previous episode that yes, I actually had that condition. I actually went through those that phase, and that was never addressed, or I never thought of it or recognized it, and so didn't know how to manage it, because you feel with that guilt feeling. Why would you be sad with doing this or being upset? It's your family, like you're doing everything. um, that's your job. Like, I mean, that's what's expected from you, and you should be perfect about it. And so it doesn't make sense. But then when I had mine, I would say like a lot later when my kids are a bit subtle, bit older, that I had a severe episode of depression, and I had a perfect career. Like, my work was going very well. My kids were doing very well at school. No major issues, but I also went through a big change in my life, and which triggered that. So I think, and that's when I sort of realized that my the reason for that condition was that I always wanted to be a perfect mom, a perfect person at work, at and making everyone happy, make sure that in my family I meet everyone's expectation, I meet my husband's expectations, and my kids are not disturbed or not compromised in any way. but I could not do it all the time. It's not sustainable. It's not achievable. So I was hard on myself, and then slowly with my treatment and my therapy, then sort of I came to understand that and accept it, that I cannot be a super person, and then accepting your and managing your expectation, and that's what helped me to then move on. So, and now that, like, alhamdulillah, I'm good at everything going on. I'm very blessed, like, with all aspects in my life. But I think that's not that uncommon. Like, and when I talk to many moms, or like, now that I work for local government, I also do a lot of community interaction. Even though I work in finance, in accounting, and we part of my work uh, relates to helping people to identify their financial problems, and then guide them to get help for the financial to manage their finance, because I do manage the revenue and the debt recovery aspects of the local government, in our council. So you come across with customers or clients who are going through difficulties, but then they open up their stories, and you hear a lot of the time the same common stories, and a lot of the moms and a lot of the housewives. So they're taking care of the business, the small shop, the small restaurants, and then they have kids, and then there's all aspects of their lives this person is managing, and she thinks she can solve everything. She wants to be a provider, she wants to be a perfect mom, and at the same time, like, perfect daughter, because they have elder parents, so they have to look after them as well. But then she has to look after herself as well, like, and there are help available. But we also think sometimes, oh no, like, I should be able to manage it, like, why am I so weak, or I'm not capable to manage it on my own. And that's okay, like, to be able to recognize that, like, that it's okay, you cannot do everything, and you're not expected to do everything, you're not expected to resolve all problems. That's a key part, I think. And it's sad also and confronting sometimes when you come across to those situations and see, and sometimes you feel also helpless, and that affects me sometimes, and I go back to my like, my memories sometimes, that how did I deal with it, like, I had all my things covered, I was looked after, my husband was like, he's very helpful, a great person, very blessed to have him, and my parents, my family, like, it's a perfect scenario, I should not be complaining. But then I failed to understand that I was also putting a lot of expectation on myself, and tried to be best at everything, and especially best mom and best housewife. And which at time that I thought I'm compromising and not being able to accept it. Yeah, but then, yeah, you work through it, and with your help, and with a lot of help that available, and being aware of that there is help available. So that's my story.
Thank
And
you
the
so much,
challenges,
Apo.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much
it,
for sharing your story. It hasn't been very easy for you, I'm sure, but you have come across so many, obstacles and so much pain. And thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing all your stories with us. Not all that specific story. I'm pretty sure a lot of people go through, or a lot of women actually go through the similar kind of pain, but they never seek for help. But you have mentioned about, seeking help could actually resolve the problem. Thank you so much, Kanizapu, for sharing your story and being here tonight. All right, so we are actually towards the very end of our program or session tonight. Before we sign off. We have got another beautiful person here with us today, and she is Dr. Sabreen Faruqi. I'm sure many of you know her because of her contribution to the community. Little bit of Dr. Sabreen. She's a founding member and the current president of CDNI, Cultural Diversity Network Incorporated. She is currently councillor for Cumberland City Council in Sydney. And Dr. Sabreen Faruqi was awarded the Order of Australia Medal, OAM, at the 2024 Australia Day ceremony on Friday, the 26th of January. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from Dr. Faruqi and about the challenges as a mother.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Indira, for the lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. It was really lovely to listen to all the speakers and good to see you all. And congratulations to all the people and stakeholders of this new organization. I'm sure together we can achieve a lot. I won't take much time because I think it's already close to 9 o'clock. This topic is really interesting. I always find it very interesting, and I can talk whole night about this. And I'm actually planning to write a book on it when I have time. But just in a couple of minutes. So I'll talk about these guilty feelings. I was listening to all the speakers. We all feel same. We all went through the same situation. If we are first generation migrants, we all went through all these issues. Like we are born again as an adult. Like adults come here and we're born again. We start our life again. Which is very difficult because in Bangladesh, wherever we came from, probably we could have a better job with the degrees we have, or the stand or the family stand, whatever. Like for me, yes, of course, that's the situation. So what I see here as a woman is, I'll talk about the motherhood in a while, but as a woman, like men, women face the same issues in terms of settlement. A new country, new culture, job, settlement. Then if you're married and if you want to have children, then raising up the children and all those problems, like the cultural expectation we bring from our country. And if you're Muslim and if you are follower, like strict follower, there are different variations of how much we follow the religion and how much we expect our kids to follow it. So there are a whole lot of issues, a whole lot of problems. But a woman, a mom, takes a primary responsibility of raising kids. That's the normal situation. Doesn't matter how much helpful the dad is. In the end, when the child is sick, the first thing is mom takes the leave from job. And then obviously that takes, these days I see a lot of very supportive husbands. I see there. But interesting thing is these guilty feelings, and all the speakers mentioned that. This is so true. This guilty feelings of all women. We feel guilty all the time. It doesn't matter what we do. One thing is we try to be perfect. Someone was saying, I think Kanis was saying that we want to make everyone happy. So husband, the society, children, everyone needs to be happy. Like we have a very colorful social life. Bangladeshis have very colorful social life in Australia. So we have to attend the dawats and we have to invite people, like a lot of things we have to tick, 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 tick. In the end, do we look after ourselves? Now, one very interesting thing I went through, and this is just something I'll touch base, the guilty feelings that not only we go through, society gives us that guilty feelings. If you want to be, if you are willing to do something different, something extra. So not necessarily first generation migrants get the jobs they want to do. All right. So if you have more potentials and if you think that I want to do better, or I want to do something that that's a therapy of my mind, let's say painting, let's say something that's not giving you money, but you want to do it. For me, it was community work. I want to do it. And I started doing it after doing everything else, like looking after son. My son is 13 years old now, so a teen kid. But since he was really young, I did my job. I continued my job all the time. But the thing is, yes, looking after home, with a smiling face, doing everything. If you do some additional thing, obviously you are not a superwoman. You have 24 hours in the end, and you will struggle with having the time. As someone was saying about the depression, the mental health issue we go through. Like, you can't be perfect. You can't juggle everything in 24 hours. Life will be a little bit shaky. But in this situation, we need support from the spouse, from the society. We don't need criticism. Uh, but that's what I think many women face, many mothers face. And it is very, what should I say? It is a tormenting thing when you get this sort of criticism from the society or from the spouse, because you are already doing your best. We have to remember that as a mother, we have a very special role. Like, it takes a lot of our time every day that dads don't do most of the things we do. Don't, no offense, dads are good many cases, but women do more. That's normal. Like, that's the expected thing. We do it. But after doing all these things, if the society says that you are not doing enough, or you are very busy, you're not giving enough time to your family, this is something I face, and I have faced, I'm still facing, and I've seen many career women face. And this is something we have to stop. And we will continue talking about it maybe sometimes later. But in community, if we hear other people are saying these sort of things, we need to discourage them, because the person who is, it's very easy to criticize someone. So if someone is saying about this sort of thing, gossiping, part of gossiping, we need to discourage that person, because no one is in someone else's shoe. We don't know what the other person is going through, or what she is doing in her household, in the Shropshire, what we are doing. So we need to discourage that person. And for women, for mothers, my advice, actually, I'm preaching myself now. My advice is we have to understand that we cannot be perfect in everything. Life is not perfect. There will be imperfection in some aspects of life, maybe in job, maybe at home. Home will not be perfectly picture cleaned. Social life will not be perfect. Like, something will be imperfect if you want to do what you are doing. So this imperfection, we have to accept it, because otherwise we actually neglect ourselves. So I'm preaching myself. I'm not perfect in believing it, but I'm trying to get there. And and we need to have less guilty feelings. These guilty feelings kills all moms. And if the guilty feelings come from home, from spouse, from society, is actually a big killer. So for our mental health, we need to start thinking that life can't be perfect. There will be imperfection, but those imperfections together makes a perfect life. So let's accept it, and let's be positive, and let's talk positive about other people. So I'll finish it here.
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much. That was fantastic, Dr. Sabrin Faruqi. Truly appreciate your insight, and you have really spoken well, like always. Yeah, I'm sure audience loved listening to you. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight for our first Women Leadership Online Forum. I think we have had pretty good conversation with our guest speaker, as well as a few mothers who shared their experiences. Your participation and contributions have been and will be invaluable in shaping our path forward. As we conclude, let's take these conversations further beyond this forum. Stay tuned for the follow-up actions and resources we'll be sharing shortly. Let's keep the momentum going and make a positive impact together. Thank you once again, and we look forward to seeing you at our future events. And if you have any questions, Any inquiries, just reach out to us through our website or maybe through the Facebook page or the email address that we have shared with you all. Thank you once again. Have a good night. See you
Good
next
night.
time.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.